Imagine this. A young man in China has just been handed the keys to his very first home. Not an apartment, not a tiny cabin, not a mobile home, a real house. It has a living room, a kitchen, a bedroom, a bathroom, running water, electricity, everything a small family needs. The total cost to build it, just $10,000. That number sounds impossible. In America, $10,000 might remodel a kitchen, if you're lucky. It won't buy a used pickup in good condition. It won't even cover the down payment on many starter homes. So how can it buy an entire house? And maybe the bigger question is this: if China can build a home for $10,000, why can't America? The impossible house. At first glance, the house doesn't look cheap. It isn't made from shipping containers. It isn't assembled from scrap materials. It isn't a temporary shelter waiting to fall apart. It looks exactly like what most Americans would recognize as a modest starter home. A clean roof, solid walls, large windows, enough space for a young couple to begin their lives together. For millions of families across Asia, homes like this aren't luxury products. They're practical, affordable, built with one purpose in mind: helping ordinary people own their first home. Now compare that to what's happening in the United States. A young American couple walks out of an open house, not because they didn't like it, because they already knew they couldn't afford it. The house wasn't extraordinary. No swimming pool, no home theater, no 6-car garage, just a simple starter home. The asking price? Nearly $500,000. For millions of Americans, that number isn't shocking anymore. It's become normal, and that's exactly the problem. Most people think they already know the answer. China has cheaper labor, America has expensive labor. Case closed. It sounds reasonable until you look at history, because there was a time when America wasn't just good at building affordable homes. America was the best country in the world at it. Not China, not Japan, not Europe, America. After World War II, more than 12 million American soldiers returned home. They wanted to start families, they wanted backyards, they wanted the American dream. The problem was, America didn't have enough houses. Government estimates suggested the country was short by roughly 5 million homes. It was one of the largest housing shortages in American history, and one man believed he had found the solution. His name was William Levitt. Levitt looked at construction and saw something nobody else saw. Every house was being built like a handcrafted masterpiece, slow, expensive, dependent on skilled craftsmen. So he borrowed an idea from a completely different industry: automobiles. Henry Ford had already proven that almost anything could be built faster if every worker performed just one task. Why couldn't houses work the same way? Instead of assigning one crew to build one house from beginning to end, Levitt broke construction into dozens of specialized jobs. One crew poured foundations, another framed walls, another installed roofs. Each team repeated the same task again and again, moving from house to house like an assembly line. The results stunned America. At peak production, Levitt was finishing 10 to 12 houses every single day. Something that had once taken months could suddenly be done in hours. But speed wasn't the most incredible part. Price was. A brand new Levittown house sold for around $8,000. Thanks to government-backed mortgages, many returning veterans could buy one with little or even no money down. Young families lined up overnight just for the chance to own one. Today, many Americans believe affordable housing has always been impossible. History says the exact opposite. America didn't just know how to build inexpensive homes. It practically invented mass-produced affordable housing, which raises an uncomfortable question. If the United States once solved the housing crisis better than almost any nation on Earth, why can't it do it again? Because the answer has almost nothing to do with labor costs, and it isn't China. In fact, the decision that changed everything was made by America itself. The decision that changed America. William Levitt solved America's housing crisis, but he didn't do it by making construction better. He did it by making one very specific decision. He stopped building with brick. Before World War II, brick wasn't considered a luxury material. It was simply how ordinary American neighborhoods were built. Walk through older parts of Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia. You'll still find entire streets lined with solid brick homes built nearly a century ago. Factory workers lived in them. Teachers lived in them. Immigrant families raised generations inside them. These weren't mansions. They were starter homes, and many of them are still standing today. But brick had one problem. It was slow. Every single brick had to be placed by hand, one after another, by a skilled mason. No shortcuts, no assembly line. Levitt wasn't interested in houses that would last 200 years. America needed houses now, so he replaced structural brick with something much faster. Wood framing, concrete slabs, standardized parts. It was exactly what the country needed. At least moment. The change happened so quickly that almost nobody noticed what disappeared. When millions of new homes switched from brick to wood, America didn't just change its houses, it changed an entire industry. Demand for bricklayers collapsed. Apprenticeships disappeared. Thousands of local brick manufacturers slowly closed their doors. Generations of craftsmanship vanished. By the 1970s, another innovation arrived that accelerated everything even further. Vinyl siding. Instead of laying thousands of bricks, a contractor could wrap an entire house with factory-made panels in a single day. No painting, minimal maintenance, lower labor costs. By the year 2000, nearly 40% of new American homes used vinyl siding. Structural brick had become the exception, not the rule. And that's where another misconception begins. Drive through almost any American suburb today. You'll probably think you're looking at brick houses. Most of them aren't. They're wood frame homes wearing a brick costume. Those beautiful brick walls, in many cases they're only a thin decorative veneer attached to the outside. Remove every brick. The house would still stand. Because the bricks aren't holding anything up, they're decoration. That's a completely different philosophy from the homes America used to build. A true masonry house carries its own weight. The walls are the structure. The brick isn't cosmetic, it is the house. Which means two homes can look almost identical from the street, while being built in completely different ways. One may still be standing 200 years from now. The other was never designed for that kind of lifespan. Most people assume America's housing crisis started because homes became expensive, but that's backwards. The first thing America lost wasn't affordability, it was permanence. The country slowly stopped building homes designed to outlive their owners. Instead, it perfected homes that could be built faster, sold faster, and replaced faster. That strategy made perfect sense in 1947. Millions of veterans desperately needed somewhere to live. Speed mattered more than anything else. But here's the uncomfortable question. If America became dramatically faster at building houses, why have houses become dramatically more expensive? Because what happened next had nothing to do with brick, nothing to do with lumber, and almost everything to do with the rules surrounding the land underneath the house. The house isn't what's expensive. By now, it feels like we've found the answer. America stopped building with brick. Homes became less durable. Case closed, except that's still not why a starter home now costs nearly $500,000. Take a modern American home and break its price into pieces. Lumber, concrete, steel, windows, roofing, drywall, insulation. They're expensive, but not expensive enough to explain a $400,000 difference. In fact, builders have estimated that the physical structure itself often represents only a fraction of the final selling price, which means something strange is happening. The house isn't what's become impossibly expensive. Everything around the house has, and that's where the story takes another turn. Imagine building two identical houses, same floor plan, same roof, same windows, same kitchen. One costs $150,000 to build. The other sells for nearly $500,000. What happened to the other $350,000? Before a single family moves in, the land has to be purchased, roads have to be built, water and sewer lines installed, electrical connections approved, environmental studies completed, engineering reports submitted, impact fees paid, building permits issued, inspections scheduled, legal requirements satisfied. Every step adds cost. None of it changes the size of the living room. None of it gives you a bigger kitchen. None of it makes the house feel more luxurious. It simply makes the project possible. By the time construction even begins, a huge portion of the final price has already been locked in. And then comes another problem. If you're a builder facing all of those fixed costs, what would you do? Build a small house and spread those costs over a lower selling price? Or build a much larger house on the same lot and earn a much bigger return? For decades, the answer has been obvious. Bigger homes, higher margins. The numbers tell the story. Since the middle of the 20th century, the average new American house has grown dramatically larger, even as the average household has become smaller. Families have fewer children, yet homes keep getting bigger, not because Americans suddenly needed more bedrooms, but because the economics rewarded larger houses. A bigger kitchen, a third garage, an extra bathroom, a bonus room. Each upgrade increases the selling price far more than it increases construction cost. From a builder's perspective, the starter home slowly stopped making financial sense. And then something even more powerful happened. Most people think builders simply chose to stop making affordable homes. The reality is far more complicated. In many American communities, building a small house isn't just less profitable. Sometimes it's not even allowed. Minimum lot sizes, minimum home sizes, parking requirements, setback rules. Local zoning regulations. Each rule may seem reasonable by itself, but together, they quietly eliminate the kind of modest homes that once defined the American dream. A builder may want to construct 10 affordable homes. The regulations may only allow 6 larger ones. The result isn't just fewer houses, it's fewer entry-level houses, which means fewer first-time buyers. And every year, the shortage grows a little worse. At this point, it might be tempting to blame developers, or city governments, or zoning boards, but the truth is even more uncomfortable. Because no single person created this system. It emerged from decades of decisions, each one solving one problem, while creating another. And that's exactly why fixing it has become so difficult. The system nobody designed. By this point, it's tempting to look for someone to blame. Developers, city governments, banks, politicians. But that's not how this story works. There was never a single law that outlawed affordable homes. There was never a vote that declared the end of the American starter home. Instead, it disappeared one decision at a time. One neighborhood wanted larger lots. Another required more parking. Another increased environmental reviews. Insurance became more expensive, infrastructure costs climbed, building codes expanded, mortgage markets rewarded larger loans, builders responded by building larger houses, buyers adapted because smaller options slowly disappeared. Each individual decision made sense, each one solved a problem, but together, they created a market where building a modest home no longer made economic sense. The starter home didn't disappear overnight, it slowly became an endangered species. And almost nobody noticed until it was gone. Let's go back to the young man we met at the beginning. His house isn't impressive because it's luxurious. It's impressive because it exists. It's exactly what millions of first-time buyers actually need. A small living room, a functional kitchen, a bedroom, a bathroom, enough space to begin. Nothing more. For decades, that was exactly what the American dream looked like. not a 4,000 square foot house, not a 3-car garage, not a home theater, just a place to start. In 1950, owning a first home wasn't considered extraordinary, it was expected. Today, many young Americans spend years saving for a down payment that keeps moving farther away, not because they dream bigger than their parents, but because the entry point itself has almost disappeared. The first step on the ladder has been removed. This entire story began with one question: why can't America build a $10,000 home? But after everything we've uncovered, that was never the real question. America still has world-class engineers, world-class construction companies, advanced manufacturing, robotics, prefabrication, artificial intelligence. The knowledge never disappeared. The technology never disappeared. The workers didn't suddenly forget how to build. What disappeared was the system that once rewarded building simple homes for ordinary families. The market changed, the incentives changed, the regulations changed, and over nearly 80 years, the definition of a normal house quietly changed with them. The tragedy isn't that America lost the ability to build affordable homes. The tragedy is that it gradually stopped trying. That little $10,000 house isn't important because every American should live in one. Most wouldn't want to. Some need more space. Others need different designs. That's not the point. The point is that it forces us to ask a much bigger question. If one country can still build homes designed around affordability, why has the richest country in the world made affordability itself feel like a luxury? Perhaps America's housing crisis isn't really about construction. Perhaps it's about expectations. For generations, Americans believed every generation would live a little better than the one before. A first home wasn't the finish line, it was the beginning. Today, for millions of young families, getting through the front door has become the hardest part. Maybe America didn't lose the ability to build a $10,000 home. Maybe it lost something far more valuable: the belief that every family deserves a realistic path to owning their first one. If that belief can disappear, then perhaps the real housing crisis was never about houses at all. It was about the future the American dream once promised.